Welcome to the professional core course of third semester BTech IT students problem solving using Python. Python is a high level, interpreted, general purpose and a dynamic programming language. The various course outcomes of this course are listed. The first course outcome says you have to write programs using Python and learn its execution environment. Second outcome is you have to apply programs to implement various computational tasks which requires loops and conditional statements. And the third course outcome is to write programs using functions and packages. And the fourth outcome is to apply programs to implement the concept of file handling using Python. And the fifth course outcome is to design object-oriented programs to implement daily life problems and their solutions. Before we start looking into the details of Python language, let us have a small peek at the history of Python. Python was developed by Guido van Rossum in the late 80s and was deeply flourished during early 90s. It has been derived from many languages such as ABC, C, C++, Smalltalk, Unix shell and other scripting languages. So its first version was released in 1991. After that, version 2 was released in 2000. Until last year we have Python 2.7 version, and instead of 2.8 now they have come up with Python 3. So we will be learning Python version 3 which is already available. So it will be interesting for you to find out what are the differences between all these versions as we go ahead. Python is an open source software from the beginning itself. So it is currently used for several purposes. Now why it is called Python is, at the time Guido van Rossum began implementing this language, he was also reading the published scripts from Monty Python's Flying Circus. So what is Monty Python's Flying Circus? It's a BBC comedy series from the 70s. So Rossum, he wanted a name for his language that was short, unique and slightly mysterious. So he was a fan of this particular show called Monty Python's Flying Circus. He thought Python would be the perfect name for the new language. When we start learning Python, it is important that all of you install Python. So I have given the link for installing Python. You have to install Python versions which is 3 or above. And Python comes with a large library of standard modules. There are several options for installing or running Python. First, either we can use from the command line or you can run the Python interpreter directly. Secondly, another option is you have a graphical user interface software that comes installed with Python, and it is called the IDLE. It stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. So typical Python implementations, they offer both an interpreter and a compiler. A sample Python program which I have typed in idle environment. You can see, I hope all of you realize how the program looks like. So I will not explain the program. This is how a Python program looks like. So you will see variables like x, y, z. You are seeing conditional statements like if. You see outputting statements like print also. So this is how a sample Python program looks like. Python program on a Unix or a Linux environment, you have to save your Python program, say fact.py with a py extension, and call the interpreter called Python. And you can make a Python file directly executable by adding the appropriate path to your Python interpreter. And of course your file should be executable, and then you have to invoke the file from the Unix command. This is an example of a sample Python program in Linux. You will see the path of the program in the first line, and the rest is the sample program which I have even used functions. Before we formally move into the Python programming, with the two different programs you have just seen, you can see there are some basic differences with respect to the C language which you have learned in the last semester. You cannot see braces or brackets or parentheses inside Python programs. You will see what is more important is indentation. So it matters to the code. And another one which is missing in your Python program is declaration statements. The first assignment to a variable creates it in a Python program. They need not be declared. Python figures out the variable types on its own. And as for all other programming language, assignment is equal to operator and comparison is double equals. Numbers, all kind of operations are as expected, but you can also use plus for string concatenation. Logical operators are words like and or not. There are no symbols with them. And the basic printing command is just print. This is a quick glance at the contents of our first module, where we will learn two basic things. One is our introduction to Python and the other one is Python program flow control. Let us have a look at what are variables and identifiers. A variable is a named place in the memory where a programmer can store data and later retrieve the data using the variable name. So examples I have written: x is equal to 12.2 and y is equal to 14. So here x and y are variables or identifiers. Now there are certain naming rules associated with these variables. So there are three rules. The first one is they can begin with a letter or an underscore. It can be followed by letters, numbers or underscore. This is also case sensitive. As in every programming language, there are certain words which have a predefined meaning. These words, which are also known as reserved words or keywords, they cannot be used for naming identifiers. So if you look at the list of Python keywords, they include and, exec, assert, finally, if, import, while, etc. A statement can be thought of as an instruction that can be interpreted by the Python interpreter. We come across print and assignment statements in the given examples. A statement is interpreted by the interpreter and after execution, it displays some result. For example, print statement produces some result to display, but it does not happen in case of assignment statement. A program can contain many statements in sequence. A statement can be thought of as an instruction that can be interpreted by the Python interpreter. We come across print and assignment statements in the given examples. A statement is interpreted by the interpreter and after execution, it displays some result. For example, print statement produces some result to display, but it does not happen in case of assignment statement. A program can contain many statements in sequence. The most important component of an assignment statement is the assignment operator, which is equal to. We assign a value to a variable using the assignment statement. An assignment statement can consist of an expression on the right hand side and a variable to store the result in the left hand side. Once the expression is evaluated, the result is placed into the variable on the left hand side. You can see an example over here. The common arithmetic operators in Python version 3 are the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation, remainder and the floor division. And their precedence is in the order of parenthesis, exponentiation followed by multiplication, division and remainder. Addition and subtraction, the associativity is always from left to right. You can see common examples of expressions and their values displayed through the Python idle environment. So you can see the plus operator, the star operator, the slash and the modulus and the exponentiation operator examples. Common comparison operators like equal to, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and the logical operators are not, or, and. Let us have a look at the different data types in Python. The data stored in the memory can be of many types. Python has 6 basic data types like numeric, string, boolean, list, tuple and dictionary. Numeric data can be broadly divided into integers and real numbers. Integers themselves can be positive or negative. Unlike any other programming languages, Python does not have any upper bound on the size of integers. The real numbers, as you all know, are also called floating point numbers, which has a decimal and a fractional part. Strings are another important data type which are enclosed in either single quotes or double quotes. So string is a series or a sequence of alphabets, numerals and a special character. List is the most used data type in Python. It can contain the same type of items. It's an ordered and indexable sequence. Whereas tuple is also used to store sequence of items. Tuple consists of items which are separated by commas and are enclosed within parenthesis. Another feature of tuple is that they are only read-only list. And another one is dictionary. So in dictionary, the order of elements in a dictionary is undefined, but we can have iterate over the values of dictionaries like keys and values and the key value pairs. Or Python dictionary is an unordered collection of key value pairs. Another important data type is Boolean, which takes only two values, that is true and false, which stores either true or false. They are called the Boolean data types. In Python, variables are dynamically typed, that there is no need of declaration of variables before assigning. The Python knows the difference between an integer number and a string and accordingly performs the operation. The examples listed below shows those where we try to print a number, do a addition to the number, and wherein we try to add two words and to concatenate a string. There is also a function called type, which helps to find out what is the data type of a particular variable. Examples are shown. For example, type within parenthesis you give E, it gives the output as str, that is string. If you give type within bracket 1, it says it's an integer. There are different data types as you have seen in Python. Hence, type conversions are also possible in Python. That is, when you put an integer and floating point in an expression, the integer gets explicitly converted into the floating point. There are built-in functions available for this like int and float. There's an example given in this slide. The example is self-explanatory. Please have a look at the example and see the sample outputs for the same. Let us look at the control statement in Python language. The if statement is known as the control or the decision making statement in most of the programming language. With an if clause, a condition is provided. If the condition is true, then the block of statement written in the if clause will be executed. Otherwise, not. The explanation of the program is demonstrated through the flowchart, which is self-explanatory. A word of caution on the different indentation rules of Python. The increase intent after an if statement or a for statement is a must. You have to maintain the intent to indicate the scope of the block. You have to reduce the intent back to the level of the if statement or for statement to indicate the end of the block. Blank lines are ignored, that is, they do not affect the indentation at all. Comments on a line themselves are ignored with respect to indentation. We can also perform two-way decisions in Python language. Sometimes we want to do one thing if a logical expression is true and something else if the expression is false. So we must choose a particular part but not both. An example is provided in the form of flowchart. Sample Python program which uses an else statement which can be combined with an if statement. It contains a block of code that execute if the conditional expression in the if statement resolves to 0 or a false value. It's an optional statement, and please remember indentation, otherwise your if and else block will not work. Nested decisions can also be taken by including a particular if statement inside another if statement. An example is given, whereas you have the first if statement shown in the green color, and inside the if block you have the second if statement which is shown in the purple color. So the explanation is in the flowchart. Chained conditional statements are used to check multiple expressions with the help of elif statement and execute a block of statement just written below the elif statement whose condition is true. Similar to else, the elif statement is optional. There can be more than one elif statement as shown in the example. An example where there are multiple elif statement and also an else statement. Please note the indentation for each block of if, elif and else. Python supports basic loop structures through iterative statements. Iterative statements are also decision control statements that are used to repeat the execution of a list of statements. We will look into the two iterative statements of Python language, of which the first one is the while loop. The while loop, as shown in the example, provides a mechanism to repeat one or more statements while a particular condition is true. The condition is tested before any of the statements in the statement block is executed. The condition is true only when then the statements will be executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, the control will jump to the immediate statement outside the while loop block. It is clear from the flowchart that we need to constantly update the condition of the while loop. It is this condition which determines when the loop will end. The while loop will execute as long as the condition is true. That is, if the condition is never updated and the condition never becomes false, then the computer will run into an infinite loop which is never desirable. The break statement is used to terminate the execution of the nearest enclosing loop in which it appears. It is widely used in the iterative statements. That is, when the compiler encounters a break statement, the control passes to the statement that follows the loop in which the break statement appears. Its syntax is quite simple. You just type the keyword break as shown in the given example. Like the break statement, the continue statement can only appear in the body of a loop. When the compiler encounters a continue statement, then the rest of the statements in the loop are skipped and the control is unconditionally transferred to the loop continuation portion of the nearest enclosing loop. That is, it ends the current iteration and jumps to the top of the loop and starts the next iteration. Like break, its syntax is also quite simple. We just type the keyword continue as shown in the. Like the while loop, the for loop provides a mechanism to repeat a task until a particular condition is true. The for in statement is a looping statement used in Python to iterate over a sequence of objects as seen from the example. When a for loop is used, a range of sequence is specified only once using the function called range as you see in the example. The items of the sequence are assigned to the loop control variable one after the other. The for loop is executed for each item in the sequence. With every iteration of the loop, a check is made to identify whether the loop control variable has been assigned all the values in the range. Every iteration of the loop must make the loop control variable closer to the end of the range. So with every iteration, the loop variable must be updated. So updating the loop variable makes it point to the next item in the sequence. The range is a built-in function in Python that is used to iterate over a sequence of numbers. The syntax of range is shown in the red colored font. The range produces a sequence of numbers starting with beginning and ending with 1 less than the number end. The step argument is optional. By default, every number in the range is incremented by 1, but we can specify a different incremented step using the step function. If range function is given a single argument, it produces an object with values from 0 to argument minus 1. So if a range has 3 arguments, then the third argument specifies the interval of the sequence produced. Examples are shown in slide. The keyword in of Python requires special attention. The in function is a membership operator. For example, it is used in the for loop. So the iteration variable iterates through the sequence. The block or body of the code is executed once for each value in the sequence. The iteration variable moves through all the values in the sequence. So in functions is a membership operator to check in the range of values. Let us look at some common examples in programming. So when we are counting in a loop, we can use a counter variable. We generally name it as counter variable to count how many times we execute a loop. So we generally start at 0 and we add 1 to it each time we go through the loop. So the given example and its sample output is self-explanatory. This is another example where we do summing up in a loop. That is, to add up a value we encounter in a loop, we can introduce a variable, say a sum variable that starts at 0, and we keep on adding the value to the sum each time we encounter or go through the loop. And sample example of the same, where we added numbers like 9, 41, 12, 3, 74, 15 is given. The iteration and its sample output is shown in detail. This is also a similar example where we are counting using a counter variable called count. We are finding the sum using a sum variable. After that, we are trying to find the average, which just combines the counting and the sum patterns and divides when the loop is finished. Filtering in a loop can also be done. For example, in for and while loops, we can insert if statements in the loop to catch or filter the particular values we are looking for. An example is given wherein we insert a if statement inside a for loop, which tries to find out at what time which are the values which are greater than 20 and are printed. This is a programming example where I use a boolean variable. As you remember, boolean variables always take the value of either true or false. So I'm trying to do a searching operation over here. I have a list of numbers, say 9, 41, 12, 3, 74 and 15. So if I just want to search and know if a value was found, the value should be outputted. So what I do is I'll set it to the boolean variable to false. In this example, I have set found is equal to false, and if I find a value which is 3 which I am searching for, I'll set the found boolean variable to true and will output it. This is another programming example where we will try to find the smallest value of a particular list and print it after we pass through the entire list. So please note that Python has also got an operator called is, which can be used in logical expressions. So the program and the sample output is given in detail.